you can only watch it for the first time once. It'll be interesting to see what we catch and what we don't.
This is our only first time.
We know that it's a serialized show.
Did you ever play the video game Mass Effect?
Okay, Tolkien, chill
Putting
out.
some little breadcrumbs.
Jean Brede Chuckle Nugget.
Question.
This is where Babylon 5 is becoming Babylon 5.
We have the most incredible community out there.
Feels like we're going to continue to go down this rabbit hole.
I was right.
Just trying to put the pieces together.
I was right.
I'm the king, baby.
What? Are you kidding me? Here I go back to Doom, as I often
We're
do.
officially into it, Jeff. 100%
So good.
It was so completely accurate.
That was great. I love that.
Definitive ranking. I can keep watching the show.
I love it so much.
The year is 2026. The name of the podcast, Babylon 5, for the second time.
Welcome to Babylon 5 for the second time. My name is Brent Allen.
My name is Jeff Akin. Brent and I used to be Star Trek podcasters, and then we watched Babylon 5 for the first time, and everything changed. Now, we're watching this incredible series for the second time because Babylon 5 is a series that you get to watch for the first time twice.
And just like the first time, Jeff and I are looking for sci-fi messages that we find in this series. Not Star Trek messages, sci-fi messages. No one franchise owns the corner on messages, but sci-fi is a genre that is uniquely situated to hand us messages, and we are looking for those that are within this show. That being said, Jeff and I have seen this entire show front to back for the first time. That is completed. That is done. That is in the rearview mirror as far as we are concerned. In fact, just scroll back up the YouTube feed or a podcast feed, and you'll catch those original episodes. If you have not watched this series for the very first time, here is your warning. This is your one, only, and final spoiler warning from this point forward. Anything from any point in the timeline, from anywhere in the franchise, extra canonical, in canon, in universe, whatever, is fair game for Jeff and I to talk about at any moment. So do yourself a favor. If you have not seen this show all the way through front to back, stop this show right now. I would never tell you to stop any of my shows, except this is the one I would be like, yeah, not for you yet. You'll get there. Trust us, it's better this way. Spoiler warning has been issued.
And we're going to start diving into those spoilers right now. Brent, we're watching Point of No Return, the second in the trilogy, maybe quadrilogy, of this big storyline we're in the middle of. Do you happen to remember, from the first time we watched this one, what your thoughts were and what stood out for you?
It's the middle of the trilogy. Mm-hmm. It's the one where they break away. But I've been saying that they're going to break away for the last 18 episodes, so that's okay. Maybe not 18, maybe the last 8 episodes. I actually don't remember what specifically happens in this episode. I remember the 3. I kind of have a good idea of what happens within the 3, but what specifically is contained within this particular episode, I don't really remember. But here's what I know. And if you've been with the show for any amount of time, you've heard me say this, and I will say it again. While I may not necessarily remember specifics and details about exactly what happens, what I always remember is how something makes me feel. This episode, this is what makes season 3 so freaking good. As good as War Without End is, as great as it was to see Sinclair come back, and as great as it is to get Zathras back in, and a fun time travel bouncy. No. Listen, Messages from Earth, Point of No Return, Severed Dreams, maybe Ceremonies, but these right here, you could strip the rest of the season away, be left with these 3, and it's phenomenal. JMS is at his peak during this set of episodes, and as far as I'm concerned, we're just right in the middle of one big, large episode. How about you, Jeff? What do you remember?
I remember one thing from this one, Lady Morella. Last week, you talked about in this trilogy, not only do we get the secession from Earth, but we also find out Londo is redeemable. That's this episode. Londo, Veer, Lady Morella. I have this little piece in my mind where this is where Vaughn Armstrong, security guard number 1, really starts leaning in, right? And it's because martial law gets declared, but I can't remember if it's this one or the next one where they have everybody lining up and you got to declare whatever and all the stuff and the rough part for Zach. But I know there's a lot of Night Watch stuff, but the prophecy. comes up in this one. We find out this is where we learn that Veer will be emperor. We
Major
had
Barrett,
inkling.
man. Major Barrett's in this one.
Exactly. It's such a
Yeah.
big deal. Such a big deal. But you're right. It's hard to take each one individually because I remember the trilogy as well. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, like, oh, this one was okay, and this one was all right, and this one was amazing. They were all. These 3 episodes could be the entire season. It would be a better season of television than most of what's being produced today, if not everything. Great episode. I'm excited to watch it.
Jeff. That's what we remember. But would you like to know what we actually said about this the first time around? Because I did go back and listen, and I made a few notes.
Okay. Yeah. Let's. I'm a little nervous, but yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, here we go. Listen, I loved this episode so much that I couldn't even complete a sentence. Brent just babbled about Babylon 5.
Wow.
Yeah. This was everything I wanted in an episode of television. I loved this.
That's the same thing you said last week. It's amazing.
Turns out it's good writing. You also loved this. You said that everything that happened in this episode was basically, well, of course they're going to do that, which means we've had good writing.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that has gotten us to this point, and now we're like, well, of course that's what happens. And you said it felt so good.
Not bad. Yeah.
You know,
Brent,
we
that's-
started talking. Go ahead.
That's foreshadowing. That's what foreshadowing.
exactly. And it's paying off.
And it
stuff
doesn't
like
mean
that.
a lot in the moment, but when you get there, it's so powerful. It's just like, I think there was a couple moments like in this piece, and then when we get into season 4, where we're like, yep, everything was set up. This is a great episode, but it's boom, 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 boom. It's doing the things it's been talking about. That doesn't mean it's bad. That's incredible.
Well, and to that, because I know what you're talking about there, and we talk about this quite a bit there, but this is where we really start talking about this idea of how, particularly in television writing today, writers love to subvert expectations. And by doing that, they do the shock value thing. You kill the main character or something of that nature. You do something, the bad guy wins in the end, or whatever it's supposed to be, right? It's become so ubiquitous with subverting expectations that if you really want to subvert expectations right now, just do the thing you say you're going to do.
Right? Just tell the story.
Like, don't subvert expectations, just do the thing. And this was a time when we really weren't doing that a whole lot back then. You were surprising us, but there is such a thing as like, hey, I'm going to prepare you for something, and if I don't fulfill it, then it's going to be unfulfilling, and you're going to hate it. But no, JMS has been preparing. He's been setting the table. He has served just the right appetizers at just the right time. He's got our palates ready, and now it's time to feast. And that's really where we are.
Absolutely.
You said that they misbranded this episode
Really?
because you thought that there was a point of return
Okay.
for Babylon 5. You thought Babylon 5 could potentially come back from all of this, from wherever we get to the end. And I said, nay, because this episode is actually more about Earth than it is about Babylon 5.
Oh, okay.
Earth has hit a point of no return, not so much Babylon 5. Then there's this whole thing with Lady Morello and how she embodies the spirit of her late husband. And actually, this was a really interesting conversation, I thought, between you and me, because so she's the wife of the late Emperor Turan, or like the chief wife or whatever.
Yeah, the lead wife or whatever.
Yeah. And so in their society, when an emperor dies, I don't know if this is true for all wives or if this is just for like the emperor's wives, that they embody the spirit of their late husband. They kind of speak on behalf of their late husband. You were under the impression that she actually took on his soul, and like his soul was embodying in her being,
Okay.
and speaking through her mouth. Whereas I was like, no, that's more of like just sort of this metaphysical thing. Like she's taking it upon herself to carry his. It's kind of like I always tell people Santa Claus is 100% real, and you know why I know Santa Claus is real? Because I am Santa Claus, right? Why? Because I take that spirit on. I take that. I embody that within me, right? When I go to Disney, particularly for the, I'm not going to go through my entire history, but I embody the spirit of Walt Disney when I go there, and I look at things, and the things that would have pissed him off piss me off. And yes, I can speak for him because I embody. Anyway, you guys get what I'm saying. Jeff, I've been on a tirade with Londo ever since he launched those asteroids into Narn.
Yep. And before that even, but yes.
No, but I really at that point was like, I'm done with him. He is irredeemable.
First time I think you said that. It's only been 18 times since then. I think you've said it.
Yeah,
you're all in on him being irredeemable at this point.
He is irredeemable because I've been saying this has to be about the redemption of Londo Mollari. I mean, so much so our council chambers folks made memes and T-shirts about the redemption of Londo Mollari. They even like abbreviated it,
right?
You know, ROLM. But I've been saying he's irredeemable. This was the episode where the first crack appeared, and maybe there is still something redeemable in him. Mm-hmm. Maybe there is. This was the one where in this episode, you mentioned this earlier, I think, Lady Morello did confirm to Londo that he would one day become emperor.
Yeah.
But then she turns around and tells Veer.
Right. Now,
I actually showed a clip to you of my Brent Watches video for that episode.
Yeah.
Where when she said that to Veer, I started laughing. And Stephen First, as Veer in the video, also started laughing. And for whatever reason, our two laughs were like exactly the same.
You were embodying the spirit of Stephen First
Veer.
In that moment.
There we go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Which, you know, I've said for a long time. And I think I still maintain this, that if the reboot of Babylon 5 ever happens, JMS, if the reboot of Babylon 5 ever happens, I would love to play Londo. It's just such a juicy role. However, the role I think I would be best fit for would be Veer.
I always wanted to be a Londo, but I'm going to be a Veer.
I'm going to be a Veer because that's who I am.
Hey.
But I think I could do a great Veer.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
I had a couple of predictions. I had a prediction, though, out of that the show was going to end. All right, let me get my crown out here. You ready? The show is going to end with Londo's death and Veer ascending the throne after him.
All right.
Now let's fast forward to Sleeping in Light. Londo has died.
Londo dead.
And Veer has become the emperor.
You're right. Absolutely.
He's become Emperor Scroob, to be more specific.
He's all in. He's living the good life.
You thought that this might be the spot where Veer actually gets written off the show. Because remember, Londo and Veer at the end are like sitting there staring at each other, like going, ugh. Because like one of them's going to have to kill the other one or something like that, right? Like we didn't know what that meant. Because she's like, oh, well, you'll both be emperor one after the other. Like, well, who comes first? I ain't going to tell you that. So they were all, we got a good Spoo reference in this one that we loved a lot. I had asked if Majel's involvement, we're backing up out of the canon of the show and just sort of overall, if Majel's involvement was kind of a peace offering between the Star Trek and the Babylon 5 folks. And you did a really good job, Jeff, of sort of researching the whole thing. And basically, yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Yep.
It's pretty much exactly
it's like you can like both. It's okay.
You said that after watching Garibaldi for 9 episodes into this season, or 8 episodes in this season, 9 actually, I guess, with this one, you couldn't believe he was your favorite character from season 1 because he's been so disappointing. He has been an awful security chief this season so far. Have you thought about that at all during the second run?
Oh, I absolutely have. Because I remember when we did the first season wrap up, and who's your? I'm like Garibaldi. And first season Garibaldi was great. He was good at his job. You know what? It occurs to me that like my favorite Garibaldi was season 1 Garibaldi. We've talked about how peak Ivanova was season 1 Ivanova, and with the change from Sinclair to Sheridan, it's kind of how we've attributed it. She's kind of been chasing some of that she had before. I don't know what that means. It's just an interesting thing that like they both. I mean, Ivanova didn't become bad by any means. Garibaldi became bad,
bad at his job,
like incompetent, the opposite of good. Like he's so bad.
Is it fair to say that in a similar way that Devlin just sort of becomes Sheridan's side chick in the latter seasons, Ivanova just becomes like Sheridan's side commander in these seasons?
In a lot of shows, you've got the character that's comic relief, who occasionally gets something a little serious, but I mean they're there for laughs. Ivanova's not that person, but Ivanova's like hey, you need something snarky, and you need it coming from somebody in uniform. We're gonna give it to her. And she's great. It's amazing what she does, but she doesn't like get much of the meat of stuff.
Because you're right. There was a certain attitude, a certain chutzpah that came with her. And while we see it in flashes throughout the course of the rest of the show, it's so few and far between.
Yeah.
And it's more just want more. Like, I love her so much. I just want more is really all I'm saying.
But maybe that's like by design.
You know, and Dundradal says this great over in our council chambers. Our council chambers folks are joining us live for the recording, and they're chatting in with us. Dundradal says that season 1 of Hanova hits so hard that it just carries through even with a reduced presence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's one of the things I remember in our series wrap up. One of the many things I took a lot of heat for was I was like, Zathras was about 3 minutes away from just being way too much. Mm-hmm. But he wasn't way too much. Like, he played it to where he's an incredible character.
Yeah.
Maybe it's kind of the same with Ivanova. We're going to play her to this point. Not that you're going to be like, oh yeah, there she is again. Oh my God, more. It's just, I want more of her.
You said there's a scene where Sheridan is reading the letter that he gets from Earth declaring basically martial law in Babylon 5. And you said that you feel like the show has probably 30 or 40 over the course of the entire run, 30 or 40 scenes that JMS like has had in his head since the beginning. Now, it would have been Sheridan or Sinclair doing it, not Sheridan, but these are ones he's had in his head since the beginning. You're like, this is one of those I'm pretty sure he's had in his head. Like, we know the whole thing about Sheridan falling out of the tram and Kosh going up to him as an angel. Like, that was in his head from the beginning, right? Yeah. You felt like this was one of those as well.
That makes sense. Word for word, said, he's like, this is the speech that's going to play at this point.
Right. You also said that based on what we saw in By Any Means Necessary, which that's the union strike one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Based on how Sinclair handled that situation, you actually thought that scene would have been far better with Jeffrey Sinclair rather than John Sheridan doing it. So let's watch for that as we get into this.
Okay, like reading the martial law piece?
Reading the martial law piece. Because remember, Sinclair, like, he follows the letter of the law, but he follows it so closely that he catches the loophole. And remember, Sheridan has, I want to say it's a senator looking at him going, or one of his commanders going, follow the chain of command. Do you hear me? Follow the chain of command. Just telling him what to do. You had very serious doubts as to Zach's change of heart. This is the one where he rips the armband off.
Okay, it is.
Yeah, and you had very serious doubts as to his change of heart, and I did not, and you and I were like, we almost went to blows over our boy Zach.
I love Zach so much, and it was one of those things where I'm like, you're not like, because I love him so much, he's not going to be the thing I want him to be. You know, like that whole thing. And so there's no way he can actually like be redeemed and whatever. They're going to make him the big bad guy just because that's how it works out for Jeff.
I said, though, you watch. Starting next week, we're right back to Hickeys from Kanicki.
Yep.
We both had this conversation. I thought this was good. Where's Franklin's dad in all of this? I don't know that we have that answer. Yeah. I think it's pure speculation, unless you know something that I don't know, Jeff. Pure speculation. Where is Franklin's dad? Which side of it is he on? My guess is he's on Clark's side.
I think so, too.
All right, 2 more things, and then I am done, Jeff. The big thing coming out of this episode, and you and I examined this a lot during our episode. By the way, our episode on this first one, Richard, was a bit longer than our typical episode, right? As you might imagine. This is the episode where we get Lady Morello telling Londo he has 3 chances to be redeemed.
Yeah.
And you and I went back and forth on what those chances are. So for the record, before we watch the episode tonight, I want to lay down very quickly what you and I both thought during our first watch.
Okay.
All right. So there are 3 things he gave her. 2 he had already wasted. There's 3 chances left. The first chance she said was something about the eye that doesn't see. Don't pluck out the eye that doesn't see, or something like that. I said that was the eye from Signs and Portents.
The little artifact.
The artifact thing that symbolizes the emperor, right? It symbolizes the throne. You said that it was a metaphor for saving Jakar, because Jakar doesn't have the eye, right? The second one was don't kill the one that is already dead. And I said, Jeff, the first one can't be about Jakar, because that's actually what this one is about. This one was about Jakar. I say, based on what Jalon was telling him, that he had to sacrifice everything and he had to sacrifice himself, I said it's either a metaphor, because Jakar is now dead, to himself and he's about something else, or Jakar was literally going to die, and he's going to come back as a space zombie because this is science fiction and we can do that. But he'd be a space zombie. And when we see the vision of him in the future where he's all like mangled and everything like that, that's space zombie Jakar.
Okay.
So don't kill the one who's already dead. You said that was actually more, don't like tread on some dead person's memory, like Emperor Turin. Like, hey, listen, he's a great man. We're just going to think of him as a great man. We're not going to kill him in death. Basically is what you were saying. So that's what we said there. And then the third one, surrender yourself to your greatest fear, knowing that will destroy you. You and I were both in unison on this one. This was about Londo saying this was about the Centauri dying.
Yeah.
Right? He would have to surrender himself to the idea of the Centauri population dying, knowing that it was going to destroy him, which is bad. Real quick, do you remember what the real answer to these three is?
There's no real answer.
JMS's answer is yes.
Exactly. Yeah. It's just, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I love the idea. I don't typically love this. I like authors to tell us what they mean when they mean it. But this is one where he's going to intentionally leave it ambiguous what it means and not actually tell us and just let the fans let the fans spin their own theory. And I really particularly love that. All right, Jeff, one more thing I want to talk about, and then I'm going to get off my high horse on this one. All right. I made a prediction, Jeff. I made a prediction. This is a different kind of prediction than I've made any other time.
It's an incorrect one because everyone you've made before has been correct.
False.
Okay.
This one was about the show. I don't mean Babylon 5. I mean about Babylon 5 for the first time.
Okay.
It was about our show.
Getting very meta here.
And I'm going to play. I pulled the clip, Jeff, and I'm going to play the clip for you and all you good folks out there right now. And Jeff, I want you to tell me, did we nail it?
Okay. Okay.
Did we nail it? Now, I also want to point out that this is in episode 9 of season 3. We are 2 episodes away from the exact midpoint of the entire series. That's where we are in the run. All right.
Okay.
I said, and I'll quote, and you'll hear me say this, I'm going to spoil the ending of Babylon 5 for the first time. Here we go. But you and I spent so much time, particularly in that first season, we haven't really had to do it much since, of really kind of defending the premise of the show. Like, the premise of the show is not comparing the show to Star Trek. The premise of the show is is putting ourselves in this, your phrase, owning our bias, putting ourselves in the spot for where we are right now in our lives, going, hey, here's this other show we've always heard about. Let's go do our thing with that show and watch how it stands on its own 2 feet. And Jeff, what you and I are discovering as we go through is actually exactly what we thought would happen as we went through this show. This is going to be a fan-freaking-tastic show.
Totally.
And by the time we get to the end, you know what? Let me spoil the end of Babylon 5 for the first time for everybody out there. You want to know what we're going to say when we get to the end of the show, Jeff?
What are we going to say?
This show is not Star Trek.
At all.
At all. Like, that's where we're getting to this point. We're just going on the journey. I'm going to spoil it for you.
Right.
The name of the show is Babylon 5 for the first time.
Not a Star Trek podcast.
This is not a Star Trek show. There's a reason we started with deltas. We have now added deltas and Star Furies. Jeff, you and I have never talked about this. It wouldn't surprise me if by the end of this season or next season, we drop deltas and we just go with Star Furies.
Right.
I don't know if we're going to do that or not. We might. But that's my guess as far as where the show's going to go.
I am reminded, Brent, of a moment that would have been just over 2 years ago.
Okay.
You and I are standing on the bridge of the USS Enterprise, an exact replica of the film set, which was incredible to go see. In that moment, of course, I was reveling, in the captain's chair, whatever, wearing my Star Fury t-shirt.
By the way, just something that I didn't do, because you may notice there's a bit of a difference from Brent back then to Brent now, right? Like it's a little bit of a difference. I was scared I was going to break that chair, and I just didn't want to break the chair. That's why I didn't do it, because I thought I'd break the chair. Because let's face it, as glorious as that set was, it wasn't the most sturdy thing.
It's very
ever.
true. Yeah.
Sorry, continue. You're sitting in the captain's chair, reveling your time. Go for it.
And we're like, this is amazing. We should rent this out. And we should film a piece where we're on the Enterprise, and on the view screen, we come up to Babylon 5, and we have a little dialogue, and then it ends with us in C&C of Babylon 5 because that's where we belong. That was our plan, and we were not done with our first watch yet at that point.
Mm-hmm.
You
I feel like
nailed
we
it.
should still make that though.
I think we should too.
I feel like we should still, because while that particular set no longer exists an hour down the road from my house, we can fly. There's airplanes.
Yeah, it still exists. It's
It's still there. They did set it up in a new location.
When there's something absolutely amazing and incredible and worth every moment of my time, I will fly to it. No
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Like, let's
will.
go.
Yes. Anyway, I mean, the end of the show, Babylon 5 for the first time, not Star Trek.
Nope.
Stargate is still not Star Trek. We don't even mention it this time around. You want to know why?
Because it had nothing to do with it.
There's nothing to mention because we got there. We had to go on the journey. Anyway, Jeff, that was all the stuff that we had, at least the stuff that I pulled out from the first time that we went through this. Quite a bit of stuff. Now, I happen to know you have found quite a bit. I know JMS, I'm sure, said a ton about this episode. Good luck boiling it down to anything. What'd you find out there for us that's of note?
There is so much. And I did boil it down. So I'll just say there's a ton. I mean, a ton. Go on, look, you can go to, there's the Lurker's Guide, there's the scripts, there's a bunch of stuff out there that's easily accessible. If you're interested, go in and get some more. But I grabbed a couple pieces, and I want to respect our time and everyone else's. So I'm going to move as many of these as possible into the episode itself when things come up. But a few that pop out, he had a lot of praise for Majel Barrett. He says that the role, Lady Marcella, didn't exist until he met her. It was written specifically for her.
Wow.
He said he hustled to get it finished prior to the Wolf 359 convention. He gave her a copy of the script. She read it overnight and fell in love with the story, the character, and what it is going to do with Babylon 5. The next morning, she reached out and said, yeah, I'm in. Let's do this. Afterwards, he says, I'd like to say that Majel did a great job. We're hoping we can come up for other opportunities for that character to return. I know that Majel is interested in pursuing other acting gigs outside Star Trek, and I wish her all the best. I think other shows would do well to utilize her abilities. Everyone had a great time working with her, and she should be recognized for work other than Star Trek. I wanted to bring that last point up because so many people, it's the curse of working on Star Trek. Mm-hmm. That's who you are forever, and there's so much great work that gets missed because of that. He says that if a word comes out of a character's mouth, it's his. That's JMS's words that we're hearing.
Okay.
The bit from Lady Marcella about greatness was one of them and had a number of different subtexts going on behind it. And there's probably a fair amount there that could apply to Gene Roddenberry. So in a real way, all of the Lady Marcella stuff is JMS saying, this is Babylon 5, not a Star Trek TV show.
But saying it as Gene Roddenberry through the voice of Majel Roddenberry playing Lady Marcella on Babylon 5.
Yeah. TV's a wild place, man. Like,
we actually talked about that.
Yeah, I kind of remember that.
We talked about if whether or not, like, by her embodying her late husband, Lady Marcella, if that was not actually just metaphor, Majel Barrett embodying her late husband of Gene Roddenberry.
Yeah. Shifting tones. There's a lot to this one. It's the last one I'm going to bring up before we get into the stuff in the episode. But there were a lot of comments. We've talked about this. He's on message boards and stuff, and he's responding to a lot of comments that were made. Mm-hmm. And there were a lot of them about Night Watch and how the stuff's just not plausible. The stuff that's going on isn't very believable. Mm-hmm. But he says it is a historically accurate predictor of the future. So I'm just going to read what he said here. Some pretty powerful stuff. It's easy, safe, and reassuring to dismiss Night Watch and the whole political climate on Earth at this time as referring to Nazi Germany, the SS, stormtroopers, informers, Gestapo, etc. But if we know our history, it shows that this is not so isolated as we might think. If we say it was just the Nazis, then this is a non-repeatable phenomenon, and we don't have to worry about it again. But of course, it does happen again. It did, and it will, to varying degrees. Go back to the Inquisition, forward to Joe McCarthy and the House Un-American Activities Committee, which destroyed lives and reputations based on associations, past history, social contacts, and party affiliations, the items specified by Masante to the EA folks in Night Watch. Stalin, and to a lesser effect Lenin, would have been right at home in Night Watch. Several of the leaders speaking for parties in the ruins of what was once Yugoslavia would also fit. When a culture becomes factionalized, when it becomes us versus them, everyone starts setting up consistently smaller camps. First, it's Democrats versus Republicans. Then it's mainstream Republicans versus conservative Republicans. Then it's conservative Republicans versus religious right Republicans, with the Democrats having equal problems on their side as well. As soon as we forget that we're all the United States, it begins to fall apart.
Yeah.
To be clear, that's very American-centric piece. And he wraps it all up with a very JMS thing to say. Ultimately, it's all a socio-political pull my finger, and we all just keep falling for it. Brent, I got a couple more for during the episode itself, but that's it. So what do you say we dive into this?
I think we absolutely should do that, Jeff.
So what's about to happen is Brent and I are going to bring up the episode. We're going to watch it right now. We're going to react to it, make comments as we're going through it. And if you're joining us for the first time, I want to say welcome and just want you to know what you're getting yourself into. If you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see the edited, kind of cut up reaction style video to this thing. You can have access to the unedited version of this by visiting our Patreon page at patreon.com/badnerds.
And if you're listening to us on an audio podcasting app, you're going to hear that reaction because we don't want you left out. And there's going to be some great conversations. And Jeff has already told you he's got a lot of stuff to say during the middle of the episode, and we don't want to rehash that later. And it's better if we don't. After that, though, we will be on the other side and we'll be talking about those thoughts, those messages that we discovered. We're going to rank the episode. We'll put that in our ranking for the season 3 on our second watch. So, Jeff, let's hit that magic button and watch this episode.
Once we hit it, we will have reached the point of no return.
No, this report is totally inappropriate. You have to do it again.
I remember this scene.
Yep.
Mondo, why? I've spent weeks working on this report. I didn't even sleep on the flight back from Minbar so I could go over it again.
Yes, well, but say instead they are decadent people, interested only in the pursuit of dubious pleasures. The dubious part is very important.
It's almost as if the things that we hear from our leaders aren't always the correct and true
Mondo, every
things.
time I make a report, you do this to me.
Yes.
When I was a young manager so many years ago, God, a lot of years ago. Just let me sit on that for a second. My God. But I was I ran a lot of data for our leadership. And I remember we had a metric of our cost per claim that we ran, how much did it cost for us to process a claim? And we had ended up farming out some of our IT work to a vendor, and it was very unpopular. And our leadership wanted there to be a marked increase in our cost per claim as a result of working with this vendor. So I run the numbers and it comes up and we're still within, a fraction of a difference from where our normal was. Like it literally had zero impact on our productivity. And I took it to my boss and she said, this isn't the number that I wanted. And I was like, but it's the number that it is. And she's like, nope, you need to come back and give me the number that I want. And it needs to be bigger than this. And I went back to my desk and I'm just like sitting there. I'm like, what do I do? And I learned a very nefarious, awful thing that is very true. Numbers never lie. And they'll say anything you want them to.
I was about to challenge you on that because, and in the football realm, we always talk about that, like stats don't lie. No, but you can make them say whatever you want them to say. Yeah. I can take stats, real stats, and I can show you why, Aaron Rodgers is the worst quarterback to ever put on a uniform.
Easily.
Yeah.
Just take it's all the subset of data. Like the whole point is, can you work your way backwards from what I did and see that there's veracity to this? Yeah, absolutely. Because I constructed it with the end in mind. The same applies to what we say, right? And so what we're seeing here is like what Londo is saying, the facts are still there, right? Like the buildings haven't been made, whatever. But it's the view, the commentary, the editorial, the story, right?
Yeah.
People hear the story and remember that. And so there's just a lot to consider that. There might be, 16%, only 16% of people, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but there's more to the story than just that.
Well, I mean, it's the same thing like when you hear, and I'm not pointing to anything specific right now at all. This is just a general thing. When you hear someone's report of a situation that happened, they may put a new spin on it. Now, the fact is the fact. Like, what happened is what happened. But the spin they put on it, or the way they say it in such a way, can really change the impression of what was happening.
Was it a Kurosawa film, right? Where it's like there's the murder and there's the 4 different perspectives of it, and there are 4 entirely different stories of the exact same event.
Yeah.
Yeah. Intelligence has nothing to do with politics. It is among
Intelligence
other
has nothing to do with
Make
politics.
that- They'll love that.
You know what he sounds like? He sounds like he's buffing a resume right now.
I've been
You're not a dishwasher. You're a
But you have
dish
me
machine
fucked.
operator.
You're not the janitor. You're the environmental engineer.
From now on, things must go smoothly. Maker, I want you. What is going on?
Haven't you heard? The Earth Alliance just declared martial law.
Where's General Haig?
He's on Star Trek right now.
Oh no.
Somewhere close to the home front.
Guard just opened fire on the Senate building.
Everything's gone to hell. You're on your own.
What an episode open, man. Like, hey, it's Londo and Veer being Londo and Veer.
Yeah. You know, it never ceases to amaze me. And we'll see this with Vaughn Armstrong and his character with Night Watch. President Clark couldn't do this without those being complicit.
Exactly. Yep.
And not just complicit, but in support of and furthering. And I would even dare say it's not really President Clark doing it. President Clark is a mouthpiece. He's a puppet. There are other powers behind him that are orchestrating this. They're putting information in front of Clark and giving him words to say, knowing he's going to say it, knowing he's going to do whatever he does. They're manipulating him to do the thing they want him to do to serve their own ends.
It's a thing, like we've talked about this before, and this, I want to be really clear, this is not specific to the current U.S. Administration. This goes back further. But watch a cabinet meeting, many cabinet meetings in the U.S. It's a bunch of people feeding information to the president through their eyes, through their lens, through their agenda. Like, that's how it works. And we talk in this program quite a bit about the concept of an echo chamber. Imagine the echo chamber the president lives in today's world and here on Earth Force. Hey, I've got this idea. Now I'm elected and I'm caught in this whole thing. It is not possible for reality to get to me because there are 100 people surrounding me, feeding me their version of things that feeds my vision ultimately.
This is the way I think things are going, because that's the information. You know, hey, what's the report out of such and such city today? Here you go. Oh my God, this is awful. What's going on? Well, we got to do this move right here and send all the, we got to quell the whatever. I don't know. Jeff, okay, I will talk about the current thing that's going on. Your hometown.
Yeah.
We're going to send people into your hometown because all hell's breaking loose. And Jeff's in there like drinking tea, walking barefoot in the middle of downtown. Like, nope, we're good.
I took my kids to go stand outside in the middle of the war zone, right? Like ground zero. We went and stood there and people were literally doing jazzercise in the streets. There were 3 dudes up on a balcony. They were armed and they were staring at us. And that was it.
That's all hell breaking loose in the war zone.
Right?
Yeah.
And now Portland, I mean, it's not the safe city, as safe of a city as it once was. And things have escalated since those days, and especially elsewhere in this country.
Any questions?
Captain,
Oh, this is huge.
how did this happen? Yeah. What did we do wrong?
What did we do wrong?
We talked about he's only allowed to speak because he's a
I don't know,
lieutenant.
I love the wisdom in what they just did, right? Like, hey, this is coming. Be ready. And we have to be the straight ahead.
I've never seen it any worse.
It can be demoralizing to hear reality, but there's so much power in what Sheridan just did. I've never seen it worse. When your leadership can actually be honest about what's going on in a way that's not panic inducing, right? He could have said that and be like, oh my God, you're right. It's and fed, whatever. But instead he's just like, yeah, I've never seen it worse. He validated Garibaldi. He said it just inspires a tremendous amount of confidence in the people that you work with. And so like, that's my Babylon 5 Leadership Academy moment, is just when stuff is going south, say it. Just say it.
Make sure you bring some extra caps for your PPG. Hope we don't need them, but you never know.
Dude, he's salivating for that
Meeting to
chance.
find out.
Look at his face.
Can we just say this right now, Jeff? There are people out there that receive badges and guns, and they salivate over the idea that they get to go shoot someone now.
Yep.
And they can do it with immunity.
Yeah.
And they're just looking for any excuse whatsoever to pop them off in somebody's face.
And I don't care what side of the aisle someone comes from. Anytime citizens of a country are being shot in the street, it's unexcusable. It's unimaginable and inexcusable. There is never a purpose for that. And that's exactly what Vaughn Armstrong is excited to do. And that's exactly what happened over the weekend before we recorded this.
Yes. And everyone has a right to defend themselves. What you don't have the right to do is to go, oh, you made me scared, so now I'm defending myself, and now I get to shoot you.
Right.
All right, I want to be clear. Everyone has a right to actually defend themselves. Where I'm from, I believe in castle law. You roll up in my house, and you're whatever, and you're putting my family in danger, some stuff may go down. But what that doesn't give me the right to do is to just go out and say, oh, you're putting my family in danger, and pop two off on you. I can't do that.
Nope. Doesn't give me the permission to shoot someone in the back of the head, to put my knee on their neck until they suffocate. It does. No, not okay.
You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Of that, you and I are of one accord, my friend. How do we go from what we just did
into this
to this?
A little whiplash here. Little whiplash.
Where are the Earth officials?
There has been a problem with the Earth Alliance, a local thing, nothing to do with us.
It's interesting perspective, because Londo's not wrong. It's a local thing. It's just a little local thing going on. For us, it's central, right? Like it's everything in the world. But to the Centauri, does this kind of have any impact on them? Maybe, maybe not.
Yeah. Might have a little bit of trade impact, but that's probably about it.
At worst.
Yeah. Our job is to follow orders from the Commander-in-Chief and respect the chain of command.
Okay, respect the chain of command.
I suggest you file them in the deep dark.
Okay, stop. I'm sure the show explains this in a little bit better detail, but help me out right now in this moment, Jeff.
Okay.
When he's sitting there going, follow the chain of command, he's clearly telling Sheridan something. What is he actually saying here?
They outright say it later on, but what he's saying is follow the chain of command. Garibaldi, the political office, has made this order. Hey, guess who's not in the chain of command? The political office. So it's not a legal order.
So that would be like, as a citizen, a department of the government that actually has no authority over citizens telling me something to do when they have no authority over me to tell me to do that.
Yes.
Got it.
Using only the authority of a weapon.
Now, if you've got a problem, I suggest you look upon this as an opportunity.
This is the opportunity that we've been working towards since the beginning, to serve Earth to the best of our ability.
Who wrote the episode TKO?
Larry DiTillio.
Is it fair to say that Larry DiTillio and Joe Michael Straczynski kind of are two sides of the same coin?
Maybe they definitely complement each other.
I mean, they shared an office, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
Like, these two guys, like, okay. Jeff, this is at least the third time that I can recall, and I don't remember what the other episode was, and I'm sure this has actually happened before now. We talk about foreshadowing. There might even be foreshadowing in the way that they were writing / editing the episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Just that in and of itself.
Yeah.
You go back to TKO where I picked up on this from the very beginning with TKO. They're intercutting the fight that's happening in real life with the Muay. Okay. Versus the internal fight struggle that was going on with Ivanova and the way they're cutting back and forth. And what was happening with Walcher was actually what was happening with Ivanova on the inside. And they're kind of showing this, right? We saw this in another thing, but here, how they're cutting back and forth between what the commander guy is saying to Sheridan and then what this dude's saying here, and they're going back and forth, not necessarily mirroring each other, but definitely mirroring, just showing different intent.
Yeah.
Even using the same words.
Mm-hmm.
To what we said earlier, you can take stats, you can take numbers, you can take words. They're not going to necessarily lie, but you can also make them say whatever you want them to say.
Babylon 5 belongs to the Night Watch.
Dude, that's incredible acting. This whole thing from Vaughn Armstrong, like, this is peak.
Dude, you should have asked your Babylon 5 question to Vaughn, not Jeffrey Combs.
I know, I dropped the ball.
And you have been doing this since my incarceration.
Talon, you're my angel. You're my dog.
Just touch my cheek before you leave.
No. The Shaggy version.
Oh, no.
She was there through my incarceration. Wanna show the nation my appreciation.
I have sensed an opportunity.
Says so much about you and me. You went there, I went to Carly Simon.
I didn't want to miss it.
Jeff's Carly Simon, Brent's Sugar.
We stand at a moment.
Shaggy and Revon. So we talked about this, Jeff.
Suit yourself.
About how many
Next.
we only see he's the only one that actually turns in his gun and
down
badge.
there, and I'm gonna stop this. Michael,
And but we actually said the real number is like 50-50.
3 years.
I want to say that when we talk about conflict, we often talk about a villain and a hero.
Yeah.
And we've talked about before, there are multiple heroes, in situations like this, and they play multiple roles. In the scope of the Earth conflict that leads to the Earth Civil War, that guy that we just saw, he's the hero. That's where the war is won.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to watch Sheridan, right? And we're going to see him in a week do this incredible speech and all this stuff, and it's going to be amazing and incredible. But it's those small actions that just everyday people take when they resist in small, meaningful ways. That's where it's won. And it takes courage. I mean, that guy just lost his job.
Yeah.
That guy, he's going to face ridicule, isolation, lots of stuff.
Well, he also could even face retribution.
Yeah, absolutely. But it was the right thing to do. And that, like, jumping ahead to the end of season 4, that's the moment that the good guys won.
Start your tour of the station. Our people here are looking forward to meeting you.
So JMS says he made a very, very long, substantially long statement about Trek versus Babylon 5 and how people can like both.
Okay.
So I pulled these two pieces from it. It says Majel Barrett has gone on record saying Babylon 5 is the only other intelligent science fiction series out there. She urged Star Trek fans to support it while nice-mouthing B5 at various cons. And if perhaps you've been turned off by some of the more vigorous messages from Babylon 5 viewers. Actually, I want to reframe this one a little bit. In our first time viewing, you and I to this day joke. I did it just a little while ago. Brent, it's foreshadowing. How can you not see it? The Babylon 5 fan community is both incredible, inclusive, welcoming, awesome, and so frustrating at the same time. It's like, I get it, man. I get it. Yeah, stop. So he says, if perhaps you've been turned off by some of the more vigorous messages from B5 viewers, I'd only ask that you consider those comments in light of the fact that Paramount, not the people doing Star Trek, but the studio itself, JMS's words, has done everything possible to hinder the progress of B5, which engenders certain reactions from everyone.
Majel's comment, Babylon 5 is the only other intelligent sci-fi out there. This episode premiered in 1996.
Okay, that's what I was just looking up.
Stargate SG-1 did not premiere until 1997. So she wasn't talking about Stargate SG-1. That's all I'm saying. She just wasn't talking about Stargate SG-1. Stargate SG-1 is intelligent sci-fi as far as I'm concerned.
You and I were in the exact same spot where I was like, this needed to have started before SG-1.
I needed it too.
Look at this. Delenn over in the Council Chambers chat points out that Paramount used to offer stations free Star Trek episodes if they ran in a competing time slot to Babylon 5.
I'm going to offer you this for free that just doesn't seem like good business to me, but whatever. They got a lot of money, so.
Greatness is never appreciated in youth. Called pride in midlife. Dismissed in old age and reconsidered in death.
It's so powerful.
Because we cannot tolerate greatness in our midst, we do all we can to destroy it. Wow. This place has become a memorial to his unfinished work.
We talk about JMS and his skill ability as a writer.
Mm-hmm.
Something we've never talked about, I don't think, is his skill as a poet. That's what that was. What she just said. Beautiful, beautiful poetry.
Yeah. Man, what if we treated Straczynski a little bit like Shakespeare? And quoting in the way we quote. I might start doing that, Jeff.
I would say, Brent, that a lot of people, even just in our community, let alone the greater Babylon 5 community, already do.
We say there is no choice, only to comfort ourselves with a decision we have already made.
I quote that
If you
so
understand
often.
that, there's hope.
What are you, nuts?
All right, Jesus, settle down, son.
All of you. I took care of you. I looked after you. Pastor L, I fixed you up with your wife, right? If anything I've ever said or done has meant a damn to you, then stop this. Stop this now.
Are we supposed to feel like that was, like Garibaldi's a hero in that moment? Like, what are we supposed to feel?
I don't think we're supposed to necessarily feel like he's a hero. I do think we're supposed to feel like Garibaldi has been stabbed in the back by so many of these people. I think the scene, honestly, though, is not about Garibaldi at all. This scene is about Zach.
Yeah. Yep.
This whole thing is a part of Zach's story that ultimately culminates in him ripping that damn band off his arm and throwing it on the ground. And that, like, so many times when we've seen scenes that are all about Veer, but it's Londo doing most of the blustering.
Mm-hmm.
This is a scene that is about, I mean, this, where you paused it right here with Zach looking over his shoulder. And I mean, Jeff Conway's acting his ass off right now too.
Yeah.
I mean, you feel this is about Zach observing this interaction between Garibaldi and the rest of the security staff, and particularly the vaunted security guard number one.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's about. And it's about going, maybe Garibaldi's not necessarily a hero, but Garibaldi's not necessarily wrong. And this is not right. This is not the way we want to be. This is not how we do. And hearing this line, you don't work for them. You work for the captain. You work for the station. You work for me. Yeah, I don't really care about working for you, but we're here. We belong here, and we're going to do what's right here. And I think that's a big piece of this.
Now, I know this role, Zach's role, was created as a result of Jeff Conaway and him being great. Like, it wasn't part of the plan. But when I see this moment, I think ahead to him getting fitted for the uniform when he becomes chief. And he's like, this doesn't fit. This itches. I don't like this.
Mm-hmm.
But it's moments like this that validate that moment.
I'm interested in your response to a question asked by one of our council chamber members. Andrew says, Jeff, why are you upset with Garibaldi's reaction here, but you liked it when the nameless extra also quit just a few moments ago?
It's very simple. Garibaldi, it was all about him. It was selfish. It wasn't about something greater or bigger. It was, you betrayed me. I hooked you up with your wife. What about me? You don't work for Night Watch. You work for me. It was me focused. Nameless dude who did it was quiet, walked away, didn't make it about him. It was about something bigger. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't go in and bust these people up or whatever, but him making it about him was immature at best. One of the biggest mistakes I ever made on my management path was I create really great work cultures. But before I had maturity in the management space, I did it focused on me. I created a cult of personality. And when I left, what I built fell apart. And I've learned since then how to actually build structure and support so that it's not dependent on me whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it lasts. What Garibaldi is doing here is making it about him and a cult of his personality. It's not that you aspire, you swore an oath to this. You serve this station. You know what? No, me. He made it about him. You choosing this is a personal affront to me. And what it tells me is he's built his entire security force on a cult of personality. And clearly that won't sustain when there's any pressure put against it.
See, I hear what you're saying, and that you're saying that Garibaldi is making it all about him, right? Like I really do. I hear what you're saying there. I'm not sure that I agree with that sentiment, though.
Yeah.
I think what we might be seeing is Garibaldi appealing to them based on his relationship with them, or rather their relationship with him, the personal relationship, appealing to them on that level, but not necessarily making it about himself. He's just trying to reach to that particular common point. But you said something a second ago that really got me thinking of, here's a guy who they sacrifice Garibaldi's character to be able to elevate a guy like Kanicki here, right? But I also am thinking, isn't this also Garibaldi's character? Okay, so and here's what I mean. So like when he got shot in the back at the end of season 1, right, and he comes off half cocked of just, oh, it's all about me, it's I gotta fight, and he goes off and he does some wildly inappropriate stuff.
Yeah.
Right. Here's another example of where we see this. When he comes back after his secret mission and he goes on a tirade to get Bester, another deal. When he's going just even bigger than that, his alcoholism, his drinking, he's doing good, and then he just falls off a wagon one day. Now he gets back up. He's doing good. He more than falls off a wagon in season 5. He jumps off, wallows around in the mud, digs himself a hole, pours some more water in, pours some hot sauce on top of that, wallows around in that, cuts open some sores on his body, rubs the hot sauce in, and then wallows around more in mud, and then he comes back up out of it. Professionally, it also seems that Garibaldi follows that pattern. He's great as a security chief, but then something happens where, this shows the limitation of it. I don't know that it's necessarily a sacrificing his character as much as it actually is his character.
Yeah. One of my favorite guest stars of all time was brought in the first season to establish this. And
Liana Kemmer?
Yeah, when Liana Kemmer came on board, they made it crystal clear Michael Garibaldi is a complete show. Completely.
Uncle Mike. Yeah.
That was a stirring reply, Citizen Jakar. Unfortunately, while all answers are replies, not all replies are answers.
Wow.
You did not answer the question that I asked. What do you understand now that you did not understand before?
Now I'm gonna dig on this one. You ready? Okay. What was the moment that pre-season 3 Jakar changed into season 5 Jakar?
That started or that it actually changed?
Well, take your pick. What was the catalyst for that whole thing?
Kosh and Dust to Dust.
Oh, a Vorlon. Influencing, appearing as an angel or a deity being, influencing the direction of an individual and ultimately a culture. Sure, but they're the bad guys.
Touché.
The announcement.
We need to grab a screenshot of that. I want to read that, enhance it, and not right now in this moment.
Well, actually, I want to go back to it because I have a thing about it.
Uh-oh.
There. Okay, look at that. I'm like a professional pauser today. There were a lot of fans of the show within the U.S. Armed Forces. JMS got a call from the Pentagon and from the Secret Service, both. And they said within the Secret Service and the Pentagon as a whole, a lot of fans. But in this moment here, the Secret Service called and told him that the top secret document covers and stuff that he uses, like all this stuff, was over a decade out of date. So they sent him a new one. And so what we're about to see in a jacket coming up later is an actual, like, modified version of a true top secret document jacket.
Okay, now I'm just going to read it because it's here. As of this moment, Babylon 5 is under martial law. A curfew of 1900 hours will be maintained until further notice. Station personnel reserve the right to intercept and monitor communications in and out of Babylon 5. There will be stiff penalties against anyone caught inciting to riot or taking any action against the security of the station, Earth, or any of its holdings. Copies of the notice will be posted in all public places. Inquiries should be directed to the command staff. Wow.
That's incredible. You could read that.
I don't even have my glasses on.
That's you. have been transformed, my friend. Move along.
This is the
Nothing to
Zocalo.
see here.
Zocalo is a human world.
Okay, so now we have police walking through the civilian area with open weapons, just tapping them in their hand, eager to bust somebody over. I mean, I'm reading a motive into this. They're just asking for an excuse to bust somebody overhead, and they're letting people know with the way they're holding it out there like that.
Yep. And on that, JMS, as you can see in the background, there's one of the Night Watch posters, the traitors, whatever. We saw that earlier in the episode.
Yeah.
He got a lot of feedback on the message boards that those posters seemed over the top and ridiculous. So he said they're actually taken, the designs and much of the verbiage is taken directly from genuine World War II propaganda and war support posters that were in use. Made some slight modifications, but the gist is there. He says, as a society, yes, we do fall for these things. We do go for these things. We always have.
Wow.
President Clark. For the first time since the early days of the
Look at them.
Yep.
Putting their weapon right in their face.
Hey, let's break it up. Break it up. Let's go.
Come on, let's move it. You're inciting to riot. Now I want you out of here. Now, move it. Let's...
You are inciting to riot, they say.
Yep. This is exactly what I was talking about earlier. When it is not okay to just go out there and be like, oh, now you're inciting to riot. Now I can bust you over the head. No, we can't let you incite to riot. But you can't go out there and just use that as an excuse, right? Okay, and again, I'm not talking, I will talk directly about this because this is something we have seen on video for years in this country. You know something that's illegal to do, Jeff? Resist arrest.
Mm-hmm.
How often have you seen video of cops violently taking somebody down? The person is contorted into something, and all you hear the cop doing, stop resisting, stop resisting, stop. You can't just start yelling, stop resisting for the sake of the camera.
If I say it enough, it will be true.
And just be like, yeah, well, you were resisting. That gave me permission to do literally whatever I just did to you. That's my protection, is just by yelling, stop resisting, whether you're resisting or not. You cannot live in a spot where, hey, peaceful protesting, oh, you're not peaceful protesting because you're yelling at me. That's not peaceful. Or, I don't know, somebody has a gun. Oh, now I'm fearing for my life. You can't, that's not okay.
It's just wild to me that this exact scene from 1996, 2026.
30 years later.
The only difference is
we're seeing it in real life on our TVs now. Or our phones or whatever.
Yeah, see, the only difference is this is scripted.
It's so sad that this is overly relevant today. This was made in a time when it actually wasn't that relevant.
Right? This was unimaginable at this point.
Okay, I want to examine what this guy does here.
And his companion vessels to escape.
So we're going to do this. Now, this is a work of fiction, right? Let's classify it as a work of fiction, but it is a mirror to society. Right?
Let's go.
Okay. So I want to just point out, who is the agitator? Who is the one who is putting hands on other folk?
Yeah, the Night Watch guy.
It's the Night Watch guy.
And right now he is cocked up and ready to go.
Right. Okay. And he's pushing people and violent, and he's about to push this one dude who's now going to push back.
Hey, get in there.
Okay. All that guy did was he pushed him off of him.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't come forward. He pushed him off of him. And now he's resisting. Now he's inciting a riot. And the guy with the badge and the gun, or the guy with the baton, whatever. By the way, and what we're probably not going to see here, I'm guessing, but what we do see in real life is, oh, now that gives permission for 10 other people to collapse on top of this guy.
That's a good dodge.
Yeah.
This is Captain John Sheriff.
So I'm going to say this. This was a riot that was incited by Night Watch.
Mm-hmm. Had they left it alone, people would cheer and they would disperse and go home.
When you see this happening, just understand the riot was incited by Night Watch.
I haven't thought about this scene probably since we watched it last. This has to be in the top tier of most brilliantly written and performed scenes. We talked earlier about TKO. in this. We're going to watch two different sides of the same thing cutting back and forth. Here, they just put it together into one scene. Sheridan in the background laying it down while this is happening.
Intercept and monitor communications in and out of Babylon 5.
He is reading that document for exactly what it was written.
Inciting to riot or taking any action against the security of command staff or myself. Thank you for your attention.
That's what he was trying to tell me, but he couldn't say anything because he knew it wasn't a secure channel.
Who?
General Smits.
Our job is to follow the orders of the Commander-in-Chief and respect the chain of command. The political office is assigned respect the chain of command.
But I can't. I just can't do it.
You can see the
We'll be there when
torment.
the ship comes in. We'll catch them in the act of sedition before they can organize.
So well played.
You did the right thing.
I can see why I questioned it in the moment. Like he is wrestling.
In the time I have been here, I have asked little of you for myself. I have tried to give you the guidance and support that is my responsibility as one of the Kari, but I come to you now at a moment of great need.
I want to juxtapose that really quickly with Garibaldi.
Okay.
I did this for you. Why can't you do this for me? I did this for all of you. Why are you? As opposed to, I rarely ask anything from you. And there are times when things are really important and you have to do the hard thing and ask. And I'm now asking.
Go in as soon as the ship docks.
I guess I thought this was going to be in
we
the
have
next
them and
episode.
the proof, we'll arrest Sheridan and anyone else involved.
I thought it stretched a little longer, but I'm glad it's happening.
The order for Night Watch to take over Babylon 5 security came from the political office. The political office, despite its connection to the president, is a civilian agency outside the direct chain of command. This is an illegal order.
Jeff, here's a good question.
Mm-hmm.
Deborah points out in our council chambers chat that this echoes the season 5 talk of where the senator's coming in to arrest Clark and the voiceover that's happening there.
I think it's too just the physical setup where like there's him and then just like there's that cadre with the senator leading them. It's kind of a forced slow motion perspective on the whole thing.
That would be, I don't know if we can make a note or whatever. That'd be great to pull both clips and do a side-by-side comparison because that's a great pull, Deborah. That's a really great connection between the two. And I don't know if that's something that you just came up with or if that's something that people talk about in the community a lot, but that's neat.
That's your cue. Look at him.
You're kidding. You're not kidding.
Always plant a lie inside a truth. Makes it easier to swallow.
What we are about to say is for your ears only, Ambassador Malari. We will not repeat it to others in the royal court.
I just want to point out, she said it's for Ambassador Malari's ears only. And there's Veer standing right there. That says to me one of two things. One, you're an attaché, you don't really matter. Or two, I already know how I'm going to end this thing. And so all of this is actually for your ears too, but I can't tell you that yet.
You still have 3 opportunities to avoid the fire that waits for you at the end of your journey. You must save the eye that does not see.
JMS says there's another way to look at this, which occurred to me as I was writing it. That's a little bit of insight into how, he's kind of, but he structured it accordingly. You must save the eye that does not see. The letter I, the word I, E-Y-E. We never saw how she spelled this. Given Londo's background, one could almost make the case that the discussion was about him. Not saying that's it, but it is possible.
I don't like it.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I don't like it. That's it occurred to me while I was writing, which means that's not what I meant.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's kind of a neat idea.
Mm-hmm. She says to avoid the fire that is going to come, what he ends up facing is a version of hell, how he lives out the rest of his life.
Oh.
Does he not avoid the fire? In fact, what was it that Kosh said? Emperor Turin, how will this end? In fire. And it ends, for Londo, in metaphorical fire.
Right, but I think, don't we all generally accept, well, I don't know, that like So there's that vision from the First Lady,
Mm-hmm.
whatever her name was.
Yeah, I forget
season
too.
1, that was basically the station blowing up.
Yeah.
We accept that as being what happens at the end of Sleeping in Light, right?
I do, yeah.
Okay. But what Emperor Turin said, how does it all end in fire? That is not necessarily the same thing.
Right? Yeah.
Right? Like to your point, like for Londo, it ends in a virtual hell.
Mm-hmm.
That fire could certainly be a little bit more metaphorical.
Yeah.
Of how it all ends. And I like the idea of interpreting at least what Turin said as very different than what we see happen at the end of Sleeping in Light.
Yeah, because if I'm Emperor Turin, I kind of don't care how Babylon 5 is going to end.
You're right. Well, it's how is this all going to end? Not physically the station. We're talking about everything that's happening here. It all burns to hell.
Right?
Right.
Paul in the Council Chambers chat. It was about Turin specifically. He got cremated.
Well done, Paul. Well done. From a pure acting standpoint, I think I see Majel about to make a mistake, but then correcting herself.
Okay.
In that, when she first walks up to Veer here, she looks at Veer as if to say, "You will be emperor," and she goes, "Oh no, I'm actually supposed to direct this to him first, and then come back." Like, watch and see if you don't see her kind of be like a little self-correcting piece.
Yeah.
See it?
Yeah.
That part of your destiny cannot be avoided.
Nope. Not supposed to look at yet.
You will also be emperor. Why are you laughing?
That's how it happened the first time. All right, I totally did that one on purpose, but I promise you, Jeff, I will never watch this episode and not do that with him in that moment. These guys come in. I want you to notice what they're taking off and putting in the box versus what they're not taking off and putting in the box.
Okay.
His gun, his badge, his link.
Not the armband.
But yet he still walks away with the armband on.
I wanted to thank you again for helping
So, okay, here's a question. What does she think of the Narn? Because this looks like a little bit of derision to me.
I have to believe that she believes much of what Turin believed, but also...
Even if she doesn't personally believe it, she does now because she has to embody him. So
yeah, there's probably some... Because there's a lot of socialization around, like, yeah, they're filthy, they're dirty, they're awful, they're all these horrible things. She was subject to that as a kid.
They might even smell a little bit to them.
Right.
You know, we do know that they have a natural musk, the Narn do. I have often talked about is very deep-seated. And you can cognitively think about something some way, but there is still the initial response that you have to take control of, but that initial response is still there.
Tomorrow.
This is great.
It's playing the awkward up. Look how far apart they're sitting.
It's comedy gold, man. I love it.
One of you will become emperor after the other die.
It's comedy gold, but it's also so dramatically serious.
Nonsense.
What's funny is Londo is worried about the idea that Veer's going to shank him one day.
Yeah.
When in reality, Veer shanks Cartagia.
Wow. Yeah.
So here's the thing. Londo is right to be worried about this man across from him having the ability to shank the Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
4 of the 5 cruisers that defected with General Haig have been shot down. They say he's on the run.
Well, he won't go down without a fight. They'll be coming for us next, you know.
I know. Never thought it would end like this.
Me either.
It won't. You're just in the middle of it.
Right. Well, I want to offer to everyone to take a collective moment to just kind of like
breathe
and take that, process that a little bit. My God. I know we enjoyed this the first time around, Brent, but I mean, it's brilliance, it's prescience, it's accuracy. It's perfect and horrible.
I mean, Jeff, this episode is, I don't know that I could say so much better, but it is certainly so much more relevant now than it was the first time you and I watched it just a couple of years ago.
So much more.
And it's that much more provocative now. Great episode of television, but I am floored, flabbergasted, angry that this episode is eliciting the kind of response from me that it does. Jeff, we have people who watch from all various backgrounds and all various different beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
While I do not hold this position, I know there are those who would have looked at us the first time around when we watched this and felt that this was just as prescient then as we feel it is now.
Yes, that's a great point.
And I want to acknowledge that. And I'll simply say I'm not there. That's not where, no. I felt like what I watched in this episode is what I see on my Facebook feed and my phone today.
Yep. In real time.
And when I saw the guard instigate a riot, that's what I see on my phone today.
In multiple places, multiple times, repeated time and time and time again.
Now we're going to get comments that say, stay out of politics, stay out whatever, just stick to whatever, you nerd or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And to which my response is basically, F you,
yeah.
The show said it, not me.
It said it. Also, I'll say this. Shooting people in the streets has nothing to do with politics. That's pure
Right?
evil. Pure evil.
Yes.
And if you are making it political, maybe watch this episode and think about it a little bit.
I feel in many ways, Jeff, like, frankly, like we just are continually beating on the same drum, but that's where the show is freaking going. And it's what you and I at least are seeing.
I wish
yeah,
beyond everything that we were just making, you know what? We're hip, cool podcasters who want to like make this relevant for people. So we're going to say stuff. We're not. We're literally just telling you what all of you see every day. And I want to jump on a point you made earlier that I think is profound and something that through our limited American lens needs to be said. What we are experiencing right now in the United States is horrifying. There are other places of the world that have been experiencing this for decades, and this is their norm. And they've watched this since it came out going, oh my God, where's our Sheridan? It doesn't minimize or make it worse or better, but this is not an America thing, I'm afraid. This is a world thing, and we're just new to the party. And I'd like to leave.
Jeff, outside of that same old drums that we constantly beat, was there anything new you picked up in this? Any new messages or anything like that you saw that you want to dive into?
Not really. I think message-wise, we have hit this repeatedly through the watch itself. I imagine a lot of it mirrors and reflects a lot of what we talked about the first time, just much more on the nose and time appropriate. I do want to say that just as a piece of Babylon 5, I'm almost ashamed at first time watching Jeff of how can I not have remembered? How's the only thing I walked out of this with was, oh yeah, Lady Marcella. There's so much that happened in this episode that's huge. And granted, I thought it happened in the next one. It happened in Severed Dreams, but we'll get to it. But like,
I'll be honest with you. I forgot about the line where they were handing out the armband. Completely forgot about that. I forgot about Zach's whole storyline in this whole deal.
Yep.
I forgot about. I remembered the martial law order, and I remembered Sheridan on TV and the chair smashing it right after. I remembered all of that. I couldn't have told you that it was this particular episode that it happened in, but I certainly remembered those pieces. But yeah, there's a lot that I actually didn't remember happening, and this is, as we say, it's like watching it for the first time twice.
Yeah, exactly. I loved what you said about how this episode is built like the other ones, TKO specific, but how it's all the storylines support each other, and that moment when it all comes together in the riot. From a just filmmaking perspective, next level.
From a riot, and let's say we often tout the writing of the episode, and certainly it all starts there. But to what you just said, as a filmmaking, the cinematography, the direction, the lighting, the camera work, the which is the cinematography, the special effects, the costuming, like everything landed in this episode.
Yeah. What about you? Did you pick up anything new?
I two things that I just briefly want to go through that really stood out to me that I kind of held. One, I just want to say this out loud because it bears repeating, and we talked about it at length in our first watch, so I won't necessarily go into it too far here. But Lady Marilla says there's always a choice.
Yeah.
We only say there's no choice to comfort ourselves with a decision that we have already made. No further comment necessary. You know exactly what that's talking about.
I'll just say there's a new show, a sci-fi show out that's controversial amongst fans of the long-standing franchise. And there's a line in it at one point where the guy says, "I had no choice. It was this or prison." Bro, you just laid out the choice. Like, there it was.
Frankly, this is a line that sounds like it should be found in Mass Effect 4. Like,
this makes me so happy.
or found on a Rush album somewhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it does. When you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice.
There you go. What album was that from?
That's from Permanent Waves on their it's Free Will. Permanent
What year?
Waves was 1979.
Of course you know that. What track was it?
I think Free Will was the open. No, Spirit Radio was the opener. So I think it was 2 or 3. I feel bad I didn't just know that one.
Talon talking to Jakar. Was it Talon?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
It
Talon.
was Talon. While all answers are replies, not all replies are answers. We stopped on that one. We didn't stop on this part, though, his next line. He asks a really poignant question that I think we would all do well. Stop where you are right now in your life. Take stock of where you are and ask yourself this question. What do I understand now that I didn't understand before? That's a pretty provocative question. We should all ask ourselves from time to time, I might add. When you have changed your position on something, in the episode, Jakar used to be one way and he is now something new. And Talon says, okay, so what do you now understand that you didn't understand before that has caused this change? For you personally, person who is listening under the sound of my voice, where are the things you have changed a position on? Where are the things you have changed? Or more, maybe even more so, where are the places you have drilled down into and really dug your heels in on? And I want you to think and ask yourself a question. What has changed in your understanding? What do you understand now that you didn't understand then? I'll give you an example, 2 examples from my own life, Jeff.
Okay.
Being raised where I was raised in a very conservative family, a very conservative home, and a very conservative community. So I was also very conservative, and not just very conservative, but I mean, poster child for this, you know. As such, whenever something happened with law enforcement, I was always immediately on the side of law enforcement no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you shouldn't have been there. Well, you should have just complied.
Right.
Well, you should have just whatever. No, law enforcement is not racially targeting anybody. That's an individual thing. Fast forward a whole bunch of years. We start seeing videos. We start seeing stuff. We hear people's stories. And what happens is I start listening to people's stories. And I will tell you today, no, law enforcement is oftentimes the instigator. They're oftentimes the aggravator. They are oftentimes the ones who are in the wrong. They just have a badge. And then they come in and they will spin the story. They will spit facts, certain facts in a certain way that will tell the story a certain way, but that's not actually what happened. Wow, we started this whole conversation talking about that earlier tonight.
Yeah, they'll bear the lie and the truth.
So what do I understand now that I didn't understand before? People's stories that they've actually been telling me. Because you see, as I stopped and started listening to the people and people's stories, then I began to understand. I began to understand what's his name? He's the guy that played, he played Rhodey in the Marvel movies. And he was in the Ocean's 11 movie. Anyway, he was that guy right there. He was a guest star back on the Golden Girls.
Okay.
Don Cheadle. Thank you, Don Cheadle.
There you go.
Coming through for me. Don Cheadle, he was on a guest star, and in that episode, he was a victim of racial profiling against law enforcement. Okay, fast forward. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Will Smith and Alfonso Ribeiro, Will and Carlton, victims of racial profiling from police.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in that same journal era, most every other rap song out there, right?
Yeah.
A certain song by NWA that got them banned.
All right.
All right. Ice Cube, Ice-T, they all had songs talking about the racial profiling that they received as black people from law enforcement. These are people in the social consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
I naively grew up believing we've conquered racism as a society.
Right.
I truly believe that. We've conquered race. All the only bits of racism that exist are the old people who were like around in the 40s and 50s. And as soon as they die, we're solid. We're golden. And I understand now that that's not the case. And that racism is very much alive and well. And I see that specifically in interactions that we now see with law enforcement. I ask you, my friends, I ask those of you within the sound of my voice who are tired of listening to me talk, what are the things you understand now that you didn't understand then? How has that understanding changed your position, or how has it caused you to dig your heels into a position? Or perhaps the best question of all, Jeff, how is it that understanding what you know now versus what you knew then will cause you to change your position on something?
I take that one step further from Jakar. Change your position and do something about it.
Jeff, there's so much to dive in. Meat on the bones. You and I often talk about, we come into these episodes and we're like, there's not really a whole lot to talk about. And then they wind up being the longest episodes. And then you have episodes where there is a lot to talk about and a lot more gets said. And there's a lot more that could be said. But Jeff, with that, why don't we turn the page on this?
Okay.
Let's turn our thoughts and attentions to more entertaining, maybe lighter topics. One of those is one of our favorite things to do, which is to take an episode and place it in our 100% completely accurate and definitive ranking of Babylon 5 Season 3. Jeff, it is up to you this week about where this episode is going to fall in said 100% completely accurate and definitive ranking of Season 3 of Babylon 5. Jeff, our current top 5. Yeah, our current top 3. Let's go there. Number 3 is Passing Through Gethsemane. 2 is Dust to Dust. 1 is Messages from Earth. Jeff, where does Point of No Return go? And there is only one actual correct answer here. What say you?
Oh, it's number 1. It's number 1. You're like top 5, top 3. What are you doing, man? Like, we all know what's up. Come on.
You could make an argument that Messages from Earth could potentially be over this episode. Maybe not, but I could see the argument.
Yeah, there's an argument to be made for just
it would be wrong, but I could see the argument.
When we watched this the first time, we ranked these in the order they came out. Messages from Earth, Point of No Return above it, and then the next week's episode above that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we're following that pattern again, because I'm assuming I'm going to put on my turban and I'm going to make a prediction. Point of No Return, as good as it is, might not be number 1 for very long.
That's probably a good guess.
It's probably a good guess.
Probably.
But I mean, as Ben says in our council chamber chat, with Season 3, you hit a stretch where we are right now, where almost every episode is going to be the new number 1. That's why Season 3 is so good. I've heard from so many people that Season 3 is the best season of Babylon 5. Jeff, I think you said Season 3 is your favorite season of Babylon 5.
Absolutely.
And this is why.
It's so good that Messages from Earth isn't even in the top 5 of our final ranking.
Is it really?
Of Season 3.
Wow. Did we have War Without End and War with parts 1 and 2 pushed as one episode in our ranking?
We did.
Yeah, I bet we did. Yeah. Wow. That means there were 4 other episodes that we put higher than this particular set.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Jeff, that's going to do it for Point of No Return next week. I always think of these as a trilogy. I know you talked about the quadrilogy with the next episode, but really it's the trilogy. It's the conclusion of this mini arc, this trilogy, Severed Dreams. Jeff, I need you to think back when we first talked about this. You didn't know what the episode was going to be about then. What did you say the episode was going to be about?
I said, and I quote, "This is the one. Sheridan makes his stand and pulls away. He severs from the dream-made form and from what Earth could be."
Oh, I loved when you said that. And what Earth could be. You added that. I loved that.
That's good. What did you predict?
Well, I said that this is, they left it with, all Clark's going to do is come back with a command clarifying what's the what. And I'm like, yeah, he's going to come back with that command, clarifying that Night Watch is actually in command, and Night Watch is going to come back and try to take their quote unquote rightful spot to be in command of Babylon 5. And basically that was going to turn into a Night Watch versus the Narn battle for control of the station, where finally Babylon 5 breaks away, because I've been predicting this every week until it happens. Babylon 5 is breaking away from Earth.
At this point, you've been predicting nearly 3 months.
That's about how it goes. So.
Any minute now, it's going to happen next week. I'm excited to watch it. Brent, normally here we kind of do a go home. It's got a little tongue-in-cheek humor to it, but this was a heavy episode, and I want to end this one a little more seriously. And I just want to say to people out there that we are living in horrifying times that are reflected in a very real way from this episode. I want to name that and acknowledge it. Be safe. Take care of you and take care of others. The only way out is through, and the best way to go through is together.
Well said, Jeff. Well said.
Thanks. I didn't think it would be appropriate to do some stupid joke at the end.
No, you're 100% right. 100% right. I'm 100% for you on all that. 100%.
Dude, I'm drained after that one. That's a lot heavier than I thought.
It was a lot heavy. I thought we were just going, hey, this is a good episode.
Yep.
Yeah, let's go. And oh my gosh. Yeah. You never get into podcasting to go heavy.
I know. Like, it's supposed to be fun.
Right?
And it is. It is.
But sometimes that's just where it leads us, man. Mm-hmm. And that's what good shows, good television makes you grapple with stuff. And this is you and I grappling. Other people could grapple differently. Mm-hmm. But this is you and I grappling, and with our friends over here in council chambers commenting, and you guys helping us out and all that sort of stuff. So I do want to just point out, though, Jeff, the note very clearly says, Brent, get the outro video queued up.
Yeah.
And then there's your deal.
I still want there to be the awkward, like, blah, blah, blah.
Well, I was waiting to make sure, and then there's you gotta let it breathe for a second, right? Mm-hmm. Before just like you gotta give it that deal.
I mean, we were on the same time, which is it's good, but
yeah. Okay, that's a good point, because you and I hit that button at exactly the same time, which means you and I have the same sense of like timing and where things are, which is why I trust you with editing anything, because I know you're gonna, and I know you trust me when I do it.
Yep.
Yeah.
There was a cool, I think it was on Discord, maybe it was on Patreon, I forget which, but such a cool question. I loved it and it made me feel so good. Jeff and Brent, have you guys known each other your whole lives?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. It feels like you guys have known each other your whole lives. And actually, like, no, we really didn't know each other till we started this. Like, we had a few interactions prior, and then this was like, hey, you want to try it? All right, high five.
Yeah, let's see what happens.
Let's give it a try. All right, I don't know who this guy is, but sure, let's go. And here we go.
Yeah, we just think of the hundreds of hours that we've spent together in the last 3.5 years. Like, it's a lot.
Has it only been 3.5 years? It feels longer than that.
Well,
but not all at the same time.
Time with me tends to feel a lot longer than it really is. That's what.
But not at the same time. But I mean, Jeff. Okay, let's just say it's only been 3.5 years. There's been so much life that has happened for the both of us over these 3.5 years, and outside of my wife, you're the person who's walked through it the closest with me, with my stuff.
Yeah.
And I dare say I'm probably the closest who's walked through it with you.
A lot of my stuff, all of my stuff, really.
Yeah.
And I even you shared that clip of your prediction, early on in this. And whenever I watch our old stuff, I'm just like, we are fractions. Physically, we are fractions of what we were back then. But I can't not look at those times and remember where we were in our lives. There are some very happy times that were there. for me personally, the lowest moment of my entire life was during all that. And I never brought that to the show. I brought it to you, you know, but I know we're approaching that here probably in the next, I don't know, couple months. And I'm curious to listen and see if I'll be able to pull that out and listening to it.
Yeah. Yeah. That was, I mean, I don't want to put words into your mouth, Jeff, but I dare say, Babylon 5 for the first time, and the community that is here. That's all of you guys out there. That's all of you guys over here that I'm seeing, provided such a place of escape, relief, and normalcy for you during that time. Am I right in assuming that?
And support. Like, it was a place where I knew, to quote the thing, I knew I was valued and I was wanted. I don't know that I was needed, right? But valued and wanted. And that was a thing.
I would say needed. I
appreciate that. I just look at it in terms of like, it's a podcast, you know, I mean, whatever.
No, but here's the thing, Jeff. Okay. All right. First of all, I'm going to acknowledge this. Okay. This would have never worked just me. This requires the both of us.
It's us. It is us.
You know what I mean? The magic of this is us plus you all. Like, that's the magic of what's happening here. Okay. The impact that our show has had and continues to have on lives, the emails we've received, the stories we've heard. So yeah, I'm going to say you were needed here, Jeff. So don't sell yourself short on. I know you like to self-deprecate a lot.
I do.
Don't sell yourself short on that one.
Thanks.
So that being said, Jeff, with all the huggy feelings, it is about that time for us to get out of here. To everybody,
I don't know, man. I almost want us to push through for 7 more minutes just so we can eclipse 3 hours. We've never done that before. I don't think we've ever done that. We should start
now.
I know. I'm literally thinking about like the processing power and compute space I'm going to need to like.
Here's the thing, though. We are at one of the highest watch rates with our live viewings that we've ever. I don't know if it's the highest, but we're up there.
Up there,
it's not the highest because our Sleeping in Light was off the chain. But this for what we normally do here, this is a much higher number than what we have. And there's a lot of you watching right now who aren't commenting, and I'm not saying you have to, but it's always nice for you guys to say hi.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's how we see you.
Yes, because otherwise we just see a number and we're like, that number doesn't match this number over here that we're seeing, and that's okay. You don't have to, but it is nice if we do. So we know you're there. But there's a lot of people. But I will just note, since we both pressed that button at the end, you're all still here.
I know. It's like, what are you doing?
Nobody's left. It's because we know Club 65's coming.
Right. We haven't had a good Club 60. Well, we haven't had a Club 65 quite a while.
Well, yeah, because it's been like, all right, man, I gotta go.
Yeah,
yeah, it's a thing. Now now we're like 3.5 minutes away, and now I kind of
almost have to do it.
I kind of want to get it to like 2:59:59 and then hit it.
I say we draw the line. Yeah, no further, and then see if we're going to beat it next week.
Oh, okay, we'll do that. Thank you guys out there so much for joining us. We'll be back soon, sooner rather than later. I think. I know we said that last week, but things got mucked up. But the plan is soon. Yeah. The plan is soon. So we'll be back sooner rather than later. For everybody else, see you next week. And drop 65 down in the comments below and let us know that you were here. And remember, the first rule of Club 65 is we don't talk about Club 65 outside of Club 65, because this is a secret. If you made it this far, you're in the club. If you didn't, then you don't know that this thing exists and it's not for you. Exactly. So keep it in the club. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. You guys are amazing.